僕たちは確かに僕が一番恐れていたのは音を失うことだった。
I'll admit that I was a bit hesitant to start Drive My Car due to the nature of the film mixed with a 3-hour runtime. Not that I was afraid it was going to be terrible, but to dedicate 3 hours of your time requires a longing, if you will, for the material, which is not one that I share. Still, I took the plunge and it's pretty goddamn good, and I was captivated by a majority of its runtime. While I don't think this is a film that's gonna warrant repeated viewings, if you give it a chance, this is a movie that may surprise you. The story here follows Yusuke Kafuku, played by Hidetoshi Nishijima, who is an actor turned stage director after the death of his wife. He accepts a job to direct a play called Waiting for Godot, which he is intimately familiar with, resulting in his past with his wife coming into focus as he interacts with those attached to the play. This movie is not afraid to take its time, which is what leads to that 3-hour runtime. There are moments that you would normally cut out of a movie that the film just leaves in, such as driving from one location to the next. There are long moments of just silence with characters just sitting next to each other, just waiting to hear what the next person's gonna say. And if you are not a fan of those kind of slow burn type of films, you're not gonna find that interesting, but the melancholy feel surrounding the film fits very well. If the movie was in a rush to kind of tell you the story, I think it would have done a disservice to the characters and the emotions that they were going through. The acting here is all on point too. There are moments when characters have to change into different people for the play, and the transformation during the auditions and rehearsals are very impressive. I also like the relationship between Yusuke and Masaki, his chauffeur played by Toko Miura. It doesn't jump right into them being open with each other. Time needs to pass, and the two need to become comfortable with each other, as it would be in real life. Heck, Misaki doesn't even feel like a protagonist at points. There are large chunks of the film where she's pushed off to the side or is there without really interacting with anyone. But as the film moves on and the relationship between her and Yusuke grows, you look forward to her presence. I also want to give a big shout out to the actor who plays Koji, the antagonist of the film. He definitely brings the most tension to scenes, and there are times where he and Yusuke are interacting with one another that you're kind of on the edge of your seat wondering what the two are going to talk about. So for a film as melancholy and kind of somber as this, I do like that there are still those moments of tonal shift when the two of them are alone. Now, I do have two problems with the movie. The first is that it does suffer from being a tad bit too long. While it did keep my attention for a vast majority of it, I was starting to feel its length towards the end. If it had just tightened up just a little bit, I feel it would have benefited the film more. The second is a bit more of a nitpick, but there are times when the characters are auditioning or rehearsing for the play where they end up turning their back to the director. Now, I get that the movie is treating us like the audience, so even though they are turning their backs, they're still open to us. But in the context of the movie, it doesn't make sense. We're not actually there, and so, I mean, that's just rule number one. You don't turn your back to the audience. So, again, it's a nitpick, but as someone who did a lot of theater in high school and college, every single time one of those scenes came up, I was like, I wish they would have fixed that. So yeah, it's a nitpick. It doesn't destroy the film in any way. It's just something that I constantly noticed while watching the movie. Okay, all my bitching aside, I give Drive My Car a 4.5 out of 5 with a strong recommendation to see it. The few complaints aside, and as I mentioned at the beginning, this is not a film that is going to warrant repeat views. But I would definitely say at least give it that one shot. Again, you might find it very surprising. And that's all I have for you guys today. Hey, we're cruising right along with these reviews, aren't we? Until tomorrow, everybody, please stay safe out there. And of course, have a good one.